I'm not really sure what happened just now.
iPhone 13 Pro is the brand new flagship from Apple, and for this time, they have all the specs that what enthusiasts been thriving for. 120 refresh rate, bigger sensor for the camera, bigger battery life, and the macro mode. Nobody likes macro. Well, I care. For this year, the Pro model finally feels like an actual Pro model that every pro or enthusiast will love. I've been using this phone for over a month, and this is my verdict on that. The design of this hardware is fantastic. The matte finish on the back is awesome and the square shape is pretty nostalgic and cool. However, the shiny bezel is just keep throwing me off. It's a full force fingerprint magnet and I ended up wearing a case all the time. However, the one benefit of having this super shiny fingerprint magnet bezel is that it's not slippery when your hands are moist. So if you put like a cream on it or if you take care of your hands, like you can totally use this with one hand. It's so grippy and it's pretty slip resistant. So that's kind of the benefit of this thing. So if you're totally fine with your fingerprint showing all over your phone and if you don't like wearing a case, this design language will speak to you pretty well. Speaking of holding this phone is hefty. It's very heavy and you can feel a lot of phone in your hand. Since I've been a big fan of iPhone 12 mini, iPhone SE, or even Pixel 4a, using this phone for the first time was not tough, but it was kind of weird. Because when I put this phone in my pocket or in my man purse—
Wait, you have a man purse?
Yes, I do use a man purse. Or when I was just casually using it, the phone itself like existed in my life. I can feel my phone all the time. So that was kind of weird at the first time, but after around 2 weeks or so, I got used to it. So this phone just became another phone in my life and I didn't feel any type of, I won't say vertigo, but like some sort of weirdness in my life. And lastly, for all my skinny jeans lovers, this phone will definitely feel uncomfortable when you put it in your front pocket, but for your back pocket, this feels nice. Also, for all my gym lovers and meatheads, you will not want to put this phone in your front pocket of your gym shorts or like certain type of loose joggers because this thing is kind of heavy and it will bounce around in your pocket and just keep hitting your little junior. If you're liking this video and if you can do me a favor, please hit the like button so YouTube Senpai will notice me and bless me with the algorithm, and I really wanted to get noticed by YouTube Senpai. The 6.1 inch 460 ppi with the max brightness of 1000 nits and 120 Hz refresh rate on this screen is just dazzling. It's nice and bright when I'm even out in the sunlight. It's really lovely to watch a HDR content, and 120 Hz is fantastic for gaming and just scrolling in general. I think the 6.1 inch is the maximum screen size for ordinary people to use it with one hand. Even I'm like 6 foot tall and my hands are like kind of bigger than the average, I think. Coming from the 12 mini, this 13 Pro was kind of hard to me to use it with one hand when I first started using it. There's a bunch of Android enthusiasts still complains about the notch size of this phone, but I think we kind of have to compromise it because the Face ID on iPhones are very secure and the front camera of this phone has the same quality of most of main camera on the other phones. I like how Apple is slowly integrating enthusiastic specs to its Pro model, but we're still missing out like the under-screen fingerprint sensor. So Apple, if you can just put that feature in this phone, I will be super happy. The camera on this phone is breathtakingly amazing, especially the main camera. Something different. This phone has a 12 megapixel f1.5 wide lens, 12 megapixel f2.8 telephoto lens, and 12 megapixel f1.8 120 degree field of view ultra wide lens. The photo quality is absolutely stunning. The natural blur created by the fast aperture of f1.5 and the bigger sensor makes the photos extra crispy. And the new 4th generation Smart HDR makes the photo looks way better than the previous models. I never used a portrait mode since I got this phone because of the main camera quality is so good and it feels more natural when I'm shooting photos. The low light performance due to the sensor size and the sensor shift OIS makes the night photo crispier and easier to shoot as well. This year's ultra wide is definitely fun to play around with. However, I don't really feel any type of difference from the previous model, and for the macro photography, it was pretty fun when I first got this phone, but after a certain period of time, I ended up not really using it. So I do think the macro photography feature is not mind-blowing because let's be honest, I don't really have anything interesting to shoot with macros. So like this macro feature is not necessary. So please don't determine which one to buy just because of the macro feature. The front camera is still one of the best in the game, and just look at the quality of this camera. I mean, it just looked like a main camera, and I do think there's nothing else that can shoot up to this quality. Also, if you're shooting a photo with your front camera, you can shoot in RAW, and for videos, you can shoot in ProRes as well. Big props to Apple, and thank you for putting this camera in it. For photography, I tend to use a lot of the telephoto lens. Just because this telephoto lens is close to 80mm, it's around 77mm. And since I've been used to do a lot of photography, I've been doing photography for like almost 7 years, the 77mm feels more natural than the 2.5x or 2x from the previous 12 Pro. The 77mm is awesome for portrait, cars, and even shooting landscape in close-up. We all know that Apple announced the photographic style for all their 13 lineup, and although those are very nice for people who don't really like to edit their photos or they just wanted a photo straight out of the camera, however, for me, I like to shoot in the normal picture profile with the raw setting, so I'll have more flexibility when I'm editing those photos. And I have to say, the raw photos on this is pretty awesome. So if you're a photo enthusiast or if you just like editing your photos, you should totally shoot in RAW and just check out these photos. iPhone is known for its video quality, and this year has no exception. The HDR, color, and the low light performance are just fantastic. I still think to this day that Apple totally nails it when it comes to the video performance, and there's no competition for this. Apple was hyping it up for the ProRes feature for its video capabilities. However, iPhone footages are still iPhone footages, so I rather shoot in a flat profile using different type of camera apps than shooting with the ProRes, because the amount of storage that they use in ProRes is just crazy. The battery life on this phone is so freaking good that in my normal days, which is remote work and I only do like casual social media consumption or just listen to some Spotify, I can use this phone for like 3 days straight. Like, I'm not joking about this. And even when I'm on the go and shooting a bunch of photos and videos, using 5G and scroll social media, the battery will still last me a full day and I am totally fulfilled with the battery performance. The only downside of the normal 13 Pro and 13 and 13 mini is that they only support up to 20 watt of fast charging, which is around 50% in 30 minutes. And considering the battery life, I won't like talk about it. However, in the majority of smartphone universe, 20 watt is very slow. Like, it's very slow. Since the A13 Bionic chip, I haven't seen a crazy difference in daily performance. I think the performance of the A15 Bionic chip is better shown in the 13 original functions, such as cinematic mode, ProRes videos, photographic style, and better battery optimization. However, in my daily usage, I haven't felt any type of difference since the A13 Bionic chip, which was on the iPhone 11. So for gaming, for opening apps, scrolling through social media, looking through online articles, and messaging your friend, you will not have any type of burden, or you won't feel any type of burden using this phone. It feels completely new even after a month of usage, and I think you can use this phone for around the next 4 or 5 years easily. I feel like this phone is a Swiss Army knife of content creation, content consumption, and business in general. Like, this phone can do anything. So if you've already been delving into the iOS ecosystem and you want to upgrade your iPhone, I do think the 13 Pro is one for you if you especially have a budget for it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys like this video, please hit the like button, and I will leave 2 of my iPhone 13 Pro videos here, and I will leave my most recent video and my channel right here. Anyway guys, I hope you guys have a great day. My name is Peace Kids, and you guys already know. Peace out guys.